Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video about classes and races for Bless Online. So I'd let you guys know before that I would be doing a video about this in case you guys are having a hard time choosing which class to pick. That for me is something that's always really hard because I like seeing the lore from them. I like seeing how they'll, look in the game, and all of them look really cool. So that's been kind of hard to choose. So I'm going to be going over all of them, and hopefully if you guys haven't decided, this video will help you decide. And also I am an emissary for Bless Online, so be sure to subscribe down below so that you can get more Bless related content, and I will be streaming the game as soon as it comes out. So first you have to choose between Heron and Union. Heron is the empire of the world of Bless and protects the civilized world. Heron is a human empire that has control of a large amount of territory and has had that control for hundreds of years and is protecting it from barbaric invasion. So I'm actually going to read some of the lore from the Heron from the wiki site. If you don't want to watch that part, you can actually skip to this part of the video, but otherwise enjoy the lore. After the collapse of the ancient Lumen Empire and the arrival of the Dark Ages, the civilized world suffered from pillage by barbarian races such as the Orcs and Gnolls. But thankfully there were three heroes who valiantly came to the rescue. They were the Northern Token King Harmon Habit, Elgradi's Great Gandur, Tanara Elanthes, and the Lupus Mighty Warrior Bold Barter. The three heroes, each leading their own race, went to war with Orudata, the Flag of Blood. After a long holy war, they were finally able to completely drive out the barbarian races from Casta Grandis. After the end of the holy war, Eager, who had risen to the Altecan throne, proclaimed the birth of the Habit's Empire, the legitimate successor of the ancient Lumen Empire, and presented Haram with the posthumous epithet of Emperor of Light. Eager appointed Tanara Ethanes the Protector, Marshal, and Barter, the Margrave of the new empire, and declared that both the Elves and the Lupus, as honorary citizens, were entitled to every right within Habit's territory. Both the Elves and the Lupus acknowledged the Habits, who possess the most expansive territory and biggest population, as conquerors of the northern continent and the leading power of the civilized world. Like this, the Holy Alliance Hera Basila of the Fifth Era was born with the Elves and the Lupus as key members of the Second Human Empire. Although the Habit's Empire has been flourished for some 200 years since then, the Great Forest Millennial Empire has been deteriorating, and the Lupus have continued to live a hermit life in Bran Forest. In the end, as time passed, the words Hera Basilia, that originally referred to the three races alliance, now only invokes the meaning of the Altequetes territory of the Habit's empire. In addition, through three expansions to the south, the great emperor Eager liberated ancient Lumen territory and became the human race's sole emperor. Soon after, the Habit's empire began to call itself both Sanctus Imperium in ancient Lumen, Heligas Rahi in official documents, both meaning the Holy Empire. The various races under Heron believed that in order to maintain the peace and stability achieved through the holy wars of the Dark Ages, there is a need to unify the whole continent. To make this a reality, the three races are actively cooperating with the Holy Empire, which has taken on the central role of being the northern continent's leader. So my takeaway from the Heron is kind of like they're this literally type of empire that thinks they have a God-given right to all the land, and they seem to be respected and loved like a monarchy would. Values to them seem to be birthright and loyalty and tradition. I was attracted to first. That was kind of like, oh, I think I'm gonna go with that one. But the more that I get into the lore, it seems very domineering. Seems like they want to be, the only ones in charge. Kind of fanatic over it too. So I do kind of like the Holy Empire type of theme that's going on there, but then I'm also a little turned off by how kind of, I don't know, they almost seem a little brainwashed. So that one was one that at first I really did like, but I feel like the more I think about it, the less I actually like that. The Union occupy the southern part of the continent, and they're very much against the Holy Empire, the Heron. So their goal is to take the Empire out of influencing their lands and become a very big power in the new age. So a nation that's, you know, has a lot more influence. So here's some of the lore from the Union, but like I said, if you don't want to watch this part, just skip to this part in the video. After Pandana's humiliation, when they fortified the untouched fertile plains south of the Cornus Mountains, the Kingpan, direct descendants of the ancient Lumen, feeling of hostility towards the Habit's empire grew day by day. Eventually, the Federation of the Southern Cities, Amistad, was established under the leadership of Alvarado, the young head of the Forza family, the Duke of Navarre, Alfonso Casas. The Amistad Federation of Cities declared their refusal to pay tax and to contribute to the Holy Empire. But the Habits did not simply let this pass. The Fall War began when the Solar Emperor Grantum commanded Pandana's Margrave Fetage to immediately punish the Amistad Federation. Contrary to the predictions of the Emperor and the Margrave that a simple military protest would be sufficient, the Amistad Federation of Cities' resistance was persistent. In the end, Margrave's army, which had besieged Sepia's city walls, was unable to overcome Alvarando's attack and the military prowess of the cavalry led by Alfonso Casas. This led to the Margrave's de facto defeat after an exhausting and fierce battle. An enraged Guntram declared direct rule over the Amistad, and not even a month later, the Empire's large army, consisting of tens of thousands of troops, passed Corridor. The military forces of Navarre, Campana, Terni, and other members of the Amistad Federation assembled in Sepisa, and the fateful final battle between the two powers began in Pandana territory. In Pandana, the Empire had bombarded them with overwhelming military offenses since the early stages of the war, and the numerical disadvantaged Amistad Federation began to show signs of defeat. However, Amistad reinforcement troops arrived, surprising the Empire, and it was at that moment the Union, the Southern Continent's alliance of races, was revealed. The creation of the alliance has been carried out secretly by Alvarado Sforza since the early planning stages of the Amistad Federation. The Habit's imperial army was concerned as soon as forces from El Rano, Medal, and Cara arrived, and although the Imperial Army had fought hard, they were unable to turn around the now unbalanced situation. The Empire lost the war, and the Solar Empire Guntram died by Alfonso Casas' sword. By achieving victory in all successive wars, the Alliance ended up achieving their wish of Amistad Federation, complete independence and recovery for the whole Pandana area. The Union Alliance achieved complete victory in the Fall War, and declared a perpetual military alliance with the goal of forever expelling the Holy Empire's interference in the southern continent. This marked the start of the Fifth Era. As a result, the North-South States period began, in which the two opposing colossal powers of the Holy Heron Empire and the Union Alliance are separated only by the Cornus Mountains. So at first I wasn't too excited about, joining the Union as an alternative, but the more I got into the lore, I saw them as kind of the colonies, honestly, of the United States. Like, they were unsatisfied with the Empire and then went to war with them, and it seemed like they were nobodies. They had no chance, and somehow they defeated them, and now they're rising as this great power. So I like that about the Union. I like that they have this sense of independence, of freedom, of all of that, and just their defiance towards something that seemed like someone's birthright. That it wasn't God-given, it was something that they could take. So hopefully from there you've kind of got an idea of which faction you want to go with, and from there you have 3 races on each side that you can choose from, with a 7th race being for both sides. It can either be Union or Heron. And I'm not going to get too much into the lore from each race. I'm just going to go over the basics and kind of tell you which classes they can play and all of that. But if you are interested in the lore from any of these races, please let me know, and I will try to do a video that goes more in depth talking about that actual race. Moscow can be played on either. Their race isn't from the continent, and they're actually immigrants, which is why they travel between both lands. They're very small and covered with fur, and they are best at business and trade, but also have a lot of skills for making items. So they can be any class, Berserker, Guardian, Ranger, Mage, or Paladin. And then in the future, they'll also be able to be Assassin. This race is so cute. I did consider being one of those. They're so tiny and cute and small, and I'm 5 feet tall, so that probably would have been a good choice for me. So next, let's talk about the Heron races. There's the Hobbits, the humans, which is the ruling race for the Empire. Their goal is to be the ruling power and unite the whole continent. They can be any class, Berserker, Guardian, Ranger, Mage, and Paladin, and in the future they will also be able to be Assassin and Mystic. Next is a Sylvan Elf. This is the one I was really attracted to when I thought about going with Heron. The description says that they are forest elves who value wisdom and harmony. They are motivated by honor and tradition, while helping the human race and making sure that the Empire protects civilization. They can be Guardian, Ranger, Mage, and Paladin. Berserker is not included. In the future, they can also be Assassins and Mystics. The third race for the Heron is Lupus. Lupus have a human-wolf hybrid appearance and can completely transfer into wolves. They are the forest hunters and warriors from a very old race of people. They love nature, but like nature, can go from calm to a storm very quickly. They can be Berserker, Guardian, or Ranger. Mage and Paladin are not included. In the future, they will be able to be Mystics. So then next, of course, is the Union races. So first we have the Amistad. These humans claim to be the true descendants of the Lumen Empire that came before the Heron. They value freedom and advancement and have a love for the arts. Through their efforts, they secured the alliance between the races of the Union to gain independence from the Heron. They can be all classes, Berserker, Guardian, Ranger, Mage, Paladin, and in the future, Assassin and Mystic. Then there is the Aqua Elf, and as you might have guessed it, they come from a marine city. Compared to the Sylvan Elves, they are defiant and free thinkers. The physical differences that set them apart from the Sylvan is that they bleach their hair and tattoo their skin. Their origin story is actually really cool, and I first started considering joining Union just so that I could play as an Aqua Elf. They can be Guardian, Ranger, Mage, and Paladin, Berserker not included, and will be able to be Assassin and Mystic. Lastly, we have Pantera. These are a group of pretty rough people. They live for war and have no sympathy for the weak. Their present king is trying to teach his people about honor and victory, since their past is mostly full of meaningless war. They are a race that lives for fighting, and with their human lion appearance, they can actually completely transfer into lions. So it makes sense, of course, that they can be Berserker. They can also be Guardian and Ranger, and in the future, Assassin. There are also said to be 3 races that are going to be released next year, so I'm not going to really go into that in this video since, you know, we can't pick those anyway. So next, let's talk about classes. Berserker is a DPS class that does close combat, area attacks, and defense. They use two-handed weapons and heavy armor. At the press event, mostly everyone really enjoyed playing Berserker. This is a fun action class that does high amounts of damage. The Guardian class is your tank. They do close combat, defense, protect, and are the only class that has provoked, gaining aggro from mobs and bosses. They use one-handed weapons, so sword and shield basically, and they use heavy armor. Ranger is the distance DPS and has skills like preparing for combat, which includes setting traps, sniping for range DPS, secure distance to be able to attack while also being able to move, and range tracking. They use light armor and a bow. Mage is also a range DPS. They use elements such as fire, ice, and wind. They can deal damage to single targets and mobs around their targets. They lack strong defense but can protect themselves with spells. They use mana to cast spells. Using your combos efficiently will prevent you from running out of mana, which is restored over time. They use a wand or staff and robe armor, which seems to be even squishier than light armor. Paladin is your healing class. They can heal themselves and others. There is also a battle res. They can also cause DPS. They use mana, but using combos for attacking while also healing can help restore mana. My husband, who always plays healing classes, said he really likes playing the Paladin. Assassin and Mystic aren't available yet, but Assassin is close combat DPS with light armor, and Mystic seems to be a healing or kind of more like a support class. I guess it is a healing class, but I'm kind of suspecting that it's going to be kind of a support. So going into the press event, I was like, okay, I'm going to sit down and play Ranger because that's going to be my character, and that's usually the type that I like. I never really considered Mage because I haven't liked mages in other games. I just thought they were kind of eh. So once I actually sat down and played, I left the press event feeling very dissatisfied with the Ranger. I didn't really like it. Some people did, but I didn't. I got to play Mage, and I really liked that one. So basically, I think what's going to happen here is I'm going to pick Union, and then I'm going to go with Aqua Elf as a Mage. That's really where I am right now. I don't want to promise anybody that that's what I'm going to do, or that's, you know, what I'm going to stick with. But I think that is what I am planning on doing. So, you know, if you're going to be in my guild, you probably have to be in the same faction as me. So, something to consider if you guys do want to be a part of my guild. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please let me know in the comments down below which race you're going to be, which class you're going to play. I want to know, you know, what you guys are interested in. So please write that down below. And then you guys can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter and write to me there. You know, if you have questions about it, or if you just want to talk about Bless, you can find me there. So thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!